Hey, everybody, you know what time it is? I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Be On That Bat channel. No, wait. No, it's time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing okay, but as I put in the comment section, I'm still breathing, so I can't really complain. Who the hell am I kidding? I can complain all I want. So, first things first, let's pop a top. And you guys can have whatever beer you want. I'm having the birch variety tonight, and we'll get right to it. First things first, I will like to raise a glass to everybody. I hope you're doing well. Here's to you. So, I'll try to wet my whistle there. So, I got most of a page of notes right here. So, but not a lot of it over the content from the past week, mainly because it didn't get a lot of views, and I'm going to go over that a little bit more. But first things first, over the past week was the last episode of Crunchy on the Outside, Squishy on the Inside. And thankfully, you guys got the references, although they were right up in your face, that one, especially with the Babylon 5 reference. And I kind of mimicked a whole bunch of those in there. Oh, shit. Hey, we got an early start today. I got to hold off my notes because we got a $5 super chat from MTF Guard. Let me just write this down really quick. MTF Guard. Because everybody knows you donate to the channel, you get your shout out at the end of the videos through the entire week. And he says, paycheck time. Probably one of the best of the good things to happen today since it's been nothing but snowy, raining, slushy for 2 days. Yeah, we actually are looking at slush over the night. It's been pretty crunchy up here, which has actually slowed us down a lot when it comes to maple syrup. Actually, it's put everything at a halt. So actually, if you guys like real maple syrup, don't be surprised if before the season is over, you see a price spike start to go up because every producer is having issues. The weather is just not cooperating. We'll see how it turns out, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite all of us in the ass. All in all, thank you very much, Guard, and hopefully you don't have too much trouble on the roads because that's where everybody gets all fucked up. Hopefully I don't get all fucked up on the roads because I don't have a second car. I just got the one. So back to the notes. Somebody put in how they made two cardinal mistakes. They messed with the boats and they messed with the kids. Well, unfortunately, we're getting a lot of stuff in the modern era that's going into you need to pay us tribute or we're going to cause problems. And if you know what's going on in the political sector right now over here in the not so good US of A, but they're trying to make it good US of A, then you know that they're trying to cut off all that money, all that tribute money so people don't cause problems. I say let them burn. And if they want to cause problems, bring it the fuck on, bitch. So aside from that, yes, Crunchy on the Outside, that one's done. It's done over. I don't know if I could push it any more than I already have. I possibly could, but I don't know about the quality. And you guys know I don't like giving you crap, which is why Summoned, actually, it's not Summoned to Another World. It's Summoned from Beyond the Realm. I just came up with a title off the top of my head, but I just say Other World because most people get that. It's probably not going to be extended on for a while, and it ended this part 2, after only 5 chapters. Guys, it just doesn't get views. Most everybody comes to this channel, they're looking for science fiction or some sort of rant on how future technology is. By the way, I did record the next one of Wargaming. I'm just having a lot of trouble with the visuals. And unfortunately, my audio quality decided to cut out and I had to re-record it. So, yay! Eesh. So, it is what it is. But there were plenty of comments in there. Some of them were actually really funny. And you guys always make me laugh. And I appreciate that very much. Somebody said how they would love to be a healer, and what they could do as a healer. And that's why you're seeing a lot of healer animes coming out. I don't even watch most of them because I just don't have the time. I know the guy had the healing punch. I was like, really? That sounds really dumb, but apparently it worked. It was literally just a counter magic. Anything, just energy is energy is energy is energy. That's it. You get enough electrical energy, if you made an electric or some sort of shield using electric, you would still have enough kinetic energy to punch through it at a high enough velocity. Energy is energy. It just depends how they do it. And I see I got to hold up. I got to wait a minute because I got a $20 super chat from Guardian Sage. Let me write you down here, Guardian, before I read your stuff here. He says, I was reading a story this past week and came across a name for humans that took me a while to recognize due to how rarely it is used. Could you do some stories that use less commonly used names for humans like Guyanus or You know, I know the language. I just have trouble speaking it. You guys know I suck at accents. So it's Gaines. Okay, I'm going to write this down. Different names for human. Names for human. Okay. Okay, I got to rewrite that because my chicken scratch is getting bad. Okay. Yeah, that's actually was, and I won't mention who, but hopefully he's in the comment section later on because I don't see him yet. Sent me a story with the whole thing about they were looking for Sir. And before I get too much into it, I got to look over. I see another $20 super chat from our wonderful demonic entity who likes to creep on in here called the SS Demon. And let me write this down. And he says, War Sniper had me send you an email. I sent it as soon as I woke up and just wanted to make sure you got it. I have to leave at 7:30, but I can actually be here today. And y'all tried this. And y'all tired of this crappy weather too. It's nice not having to run right away. Yeah. I'd hate to run in this weather too. Although it was hilarious when I was up in Drum and everybody thought I was being stupid for putting those spring-looking ice cleats on my running shoes. Well, my unit was Rangerific, so it was literally the roads were labeled black. We weren't supposed to be on there. You're actually not supposed to leave your house when the roads are labeled black. There's green, green, red, and black. Green, you're good to go. Red, caution, expect delays, and then black is you stay in there. It was quite literally blizzard conditions, and my first sergeant but I'm from Ranger Bat. I'm so freaking great and awesome. We're running down the road. Guys are slipping and falling all the time because it's just coated in ice. And we even got called by the MPs. What the hell are you doing running outside? You're not even supposed to be here. Send your people home. Of course, he was like, I'm Ranger. I'm good. It's that arrogance, folks. It gets on my nerves because it gets my guys hurt. And you want to be arrogant, fine. You want to be arrogant, you want to be Ranger, stay in Ranger Bat and leave us the fuck alone. So anyways, not running in this weather is good. Once syrup season is over, my ass is back in the gym because I got a little blubber going on here and I want to get rid of it. I mean, let's face it. Who doesn't want to get a little toner? Unfortunately, I did torque the shit out of my arm. I was moving a freezer with a buddy of mine, and he has a bad habit of as soon as you pick up, he starts to move, and then you gotta hurry up and catch up to him. Nice guy and all, really cool guy, but everybody's got a bad habit, including me, which I have bad habits of going off in the weeds, which is what I'm currently doing. So I'm gonna pull myself back here, and thank you again, Demon, Guardian, Guard, everybody there. Thank you for supporting. I very much appreciate it. So back to the notes. Anyway, we were talking about the healer thing. And yes, it really depends on how the powers are used. I think I mentioned before on a previous live stream how if you did get, say, a magic power to the item box power, just that. Now, there was a manga that was done. I only got to read the first chapter or two where that was his main ability was the item. He literally could look at something, put it in the box, dismantle it into all its little bitty pieces, and he didn't have to officially kill anything. He just had to be within a certain proximity until he got to a certain level, and then, he could put bigger and bigger and bigger stuff in there, and he had to be farther and farther and farther away. And the guy made a mint because he could do things people just couldn't do. and it was so simple. It was just crazy. Just like there's one of a potion maker, and that guy, I'm sorry, I literally got about one chapter in. It's like, okay, this is hentai. Goodbye. But before I go any further, I have to stop. I have to look over with a $5 super chat from somebody who is so outrageous, so absolutely crazy outrageous that she actually sent me the pictures to put on at the end of Summon to Another World for you guys. And I know if he's here, once he gets here, make sure War Sniper knows to look on there, because he's going to like that one. He's going to actually pause it and stare, maybe drool a little. And anyway, Erica says, thank you for everything, Syntax. You are quite welcome. And everybody here is quite welcome, and I appreciate y'all being here, because, again, if you weren't here, I wouldn't be here. What the hell else am I going to do on a Wednesday night? Can't go to a bar, and I never understood the whole idea of driving someplace to drink when you full well you got to drive back. I never understood that. However, it's always fun to be the designated driver. I always volunteer to be the designated driver because it's always fun to look at somebody and go, ha, you fell. You can stay down there for a minute. So thank you again, everybody. And back here. But just to polish off what I was saying before, the power that you would get, any type of isekai, any type of other world, any type of whatever it might be, even in, say it's this world, and you suddenly get an ability, which apparently there's a manga going around where that actually happened. Again, I don't have time. I saw the cover art for it, which didn't look too bad. It really depends on how you use it. Really, it's just that simple. Okay, somebody put in the comments that, yeah, Germans would be pissed off at the treatment of the beer inside the village. Yeah, he's right. And the way us Americans do look at beer really, really pisses off the Germans. I was at Oktoberfest, folks. If you ever get to Oktoberfest, if you get a chance, go. But go during the week. You do not want to go on the weekends. The lines are just ungodly long. It'll take you 2 hours just to get inside the beer tent. And after about 4 or 5 of those big beer steins, trust me, you're going to have to piss so bad, you're literally going to feel your eyes start pushing out of your head. And once you leave, yeah, you're not getting back in. So, now, on a different note, on the comment section, somebody brought up the healer with the biomass, okay? And I won't mention who. You can out yourself in the comment section if you want, or in the chat box if you want. He was talking about how he had a lot of biomass that he could use to take care of certain issues, to include radiation poisoning. And that, by the way, that's why I don't want to put somebody's health stuff out there. If you guys put it out by your own stuff, that's on you. But yeah, the whole idea with a lot of biomass is because that character had to build up a brand new body for an ethereal being to inhabit. But you're talking about putting a lot of power into a container. That's a lot of pressures, like overpressuring a hose. It could just make the whole thing explode. So now our wonderful War Sniper, who decided to send me all the stuff about the dragon guy, and that's why he was in there so much, is because that was a direct request. By the way, you guys have direct requests. I'm not very good at checking emails, but when I do, I try to put as much in as possible. And I'm going to go over that a little more of that later. But because you're building up from that point, from the quantum level, you have to actually make things over strong. It's like if you want to put one washer on a bolt, and you're like, well, that washer will hold, but we're going to have a lot more pressure on this step, so we need to put a bigger washer underneath, and then the bigger washer underneath, and then the bigger one underneath that. It's just the way it goes. And that's why all the biomass. I didn't want to say that because I figured you guys were just smart enough to figure it out. And I was right, because you guys got it. Anyway, here's one that made me laugh, guys. I'm sorry, but this was funny. When I brought up the fact that, yeah, if you have a whole bunch of folks trying to take a bath and they're covered in fur, they might want to get shampooed and, combed out before they go in. And also, a lot of reptilians, when they get into warm water, they tend to shed their scales. It's just a natural thing. That's all it is. Nothing against them. But I'm sorry, when somebody said, I would love to have been the fluffy scrubber. I'm sorry. So you're telling me you want to be a fluffer. I'm going to let that one stew for just a little bit, because I kind of figured as soon as he wrote that, he understood what the hell that meant. And I'm just like, if you don't get that, that is a very old term for stuff. You know what? I'm going to put a pin in that, because I could get in trouble. I haven't been on long enough where I can get away with a lot of shit. Okay. Somebody brought up during the battle, he should have chucked some death orbs. That was actually stated in the very first episode. He couldn't get a lot of stuff. He get his pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, and that was it. He had no explosives. So couldn't use the death orbs, hand grenades. Now, War Sniper brought up this, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew this, because this was actually part of the backstory of the dragon character, Fernan. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the name right. He's supposed to be able to put up a barrier. The only issue is with a magical barrier, whenever one of those is put up, it doesn't matter what genre it is, if it's isekai or just slice of life magic story. If you put up a barrier, the person who puts it up has complete control of who passes through it. And when you have your own friendlies moving in and out at the same time, especially in a vacation zone like that, that's going to put a big halt on people actually coming in to use your facilities, which is why the character didn't use it. It is what it is. I try to keep as close to lore as possible, guys, so I don't get everybody confused, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I got in here. Ava doing did War Sniper show back up? I don't know. But yeah, Ava, I got it in here just to mention it again about your picture choices. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And they all have red hair. Makes me worry. You know what they say about red on the head. Anyways. Oh, I gotta stop. I just saw that jump up because we got another $5 super chat. You do know there, Chris, that you are still good for another 6 weeks, but I do appreciate you throwing that in. And Chris Dixon says, sorry with moving my mom, and I'm broke for a bit, but after 3 in a day, it's dude, you're good. You're good. Again, don't put yourselves in the poorhouse, folks. I know how tight money can fucking get. Trust me, I know how tight it can fucking get. That being said, I appreciate it. Okay, I really do. And I mean, you humble me, folks. You really do. You bring me back down to reality, because I know sometimes I've done super chats before, not recently, but I know sometimes it's like, well, I don't know, should I send the extra money that I got on the debit card or not? And I appreciate it. That's all I can say, guys. I'm trying not to go off on a rant here, but you got me. You really got me. I appreciate it. So anyway, Chris, don't worry. You were getting your shout out with your catchphrase or title, however you want to put that. And you're always first one in because you sent such a large donation before. Anyways, thank you again. And we're moving back down here to, folks, this is why I would like to get ahead on certain stories. I really would. But I have to spend each day working on each chapter. Reason being, you guys send me some of the funniest shit ever. And this is one, I'm just going to read it straight out of my notes. Tactical hot tub nuke. This came from one of you guys. And what the hot tub nuke, the tactical by the way he wrote it, it'd actually be strategic nuke. Apparently, he was in a hot tub with several folks, and about 2 seconds after he got out, one of the ladies was in there, lost control of her muscles, and turned it from clear water to muddy water really, really, really fast. So yes, I would truly believe that would be a strategic hot tub nuke, because it just cleared the entire area. And I'm sure it didn't smell that good. And I'm sure whoever owned that hot tub was pissed, or were they shit? I don't know. Regardless, that was actually kind of mentioned, hinted at inside the story, but I didn't even think about that until somebody mentioned the hot tub nuke. This is why I try to do them each day. That's why sometimes there's a lag too. Like there almost wasn't going to be a video going out tonight. I can't. I did the one for tonight, and don't worry, we'll go over it. At least we'll go over what it's going to be about. But I couldn't finish it because, well, I got to wait for you guys and the live stream. It's Wednesday. So also, unfortunately for this one, I screwed up really bad again, and I had to like destroy like 4 or 5 pages worth of material, and I had to start from scratch. I was just like, oh, you freaking moron. And then I finally found a way to do it right, and I'm just like, it started flowing out of me. I was like, it happens, folks. It happens. I do apologize when there's a lag, but I mean, it's just me. Anyway, down to the final part of the notes. Somebody brought in the fact that I gave the main character not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 companions. I do have to ask if that was overdoing it. The only reason I grabbed 4 was I figured it would be okay if it was the same number as our dragon buddy, Ferdinand, or whatever that. Yeah, I think it's Ferdinand. Just because all the back and forth he was giving the guy about, you should, you need to relax. And by the way, if you haven't figured that one out, from the old movie Turner and Hooch, it's where the guy goes, when's the last time you relaxed? I am relaxed. No, relaxed, top old Smokey. Oh, you mean when was the last time I got laid? Oh, it's like 6 times this morning. I'm exhausted. Whew. For those of you who don't know that movie, it's a pretty good movie. It's basically goes right there with K9. And by that one, that's not Canine. It's just K, the letter K, and then 9. They're both very, very similar. They are definitely not the same. Okay, excuse me. I had to wet my whistle there. But yeah, you guys just have to let me know if that was 4 mates was overdoing it. The only one that I can think of a character that has multiple women with him is the they call us monsters. And the reason for that is there was just more women around, and they just all drew to him because he's the biggest and strongest and meanest motherfucker around there. Actually, he's not the meanest. He's just the biggest and the strongest. So it is what it is. Anyways, I wanted to go into a few things. If you watched the Super Bowl, which I did not, I have zero interest in grown men running around, huddling together, wearing hot pants, trying to grab each other's balls and trying desperately to score in the end zone. And of course, when they do that, they do some sort of weird dance. Seriously, I can't anymore. Especially when they're overpaid like that. Millions and millions of dollars. It's never enough. Bite me. Although when they booed Taylor Swift, that might have been worth the price of admission. However, during the Super Bowl, they had their commercials, of course. And I looked over on YouTube at the movie commercials that came out. I don't know about you guys, but I'm done with this sequel overload. Everything's a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. It's getting too much. They need to just do something original and go from it, because they're not only just doing sequels, they're doing live action remakes, shot for shot remakes. Why? It has not worked a single time since they started it. They thought they could redo shot for shot remake of the movie Psycho. And the guy who plays the main character as the Psycho, he even mimics the exact same facial movements. I'm like, dude, that's not acting. That's mimicry. Anybody can do mimicry. I can do mimicry. Look, I'm Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. There you go. But you got to imagine me with a giant squid head. So just, no. And the worst part is, one of the ones they're trying to do a live action of is the How to Train Your Dragon. That is the only only CGI movie that everybody says you should just watch it in 3D because it's so good in 3D. All other 3D movies break the laws of physics by sucking and blowing at the same time. It's just, why? Just re-release it in 3D again. Trust me, people are going to watch it, and you're going to save money because honestly, it looks terrible. It looked, at least to me, looks like shit. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. There's only one I want to watch, and that's where the guy's basically the mechanic 2.0. But he's not some hard charger gonna, get his hands dirty. He's going to avenge his wife, but he's a computer geek, so he figures out different ways of ending folks without having to shoot them. Is what it is, but it actually looks good to me. Anyway, I wanted to go over this as well before I get. I only got a few more before I get into the chat box here. And I noticed that a lot of people are going crazy over the new American style animation because it's violent, it's bloody, and it's funny. Yeah, it's missing a little bit of a Japanese plot, if you know what I mean, but it's still pretty good. The thing is, I really don't have time to sit and binge watch this stuff. And everybody is going nuts about the new Invincible that's out. Now, I saw Creature Commandos. I thought it was a great upgrade from the original because the original was just cartoon kidsy bullshit. The new Invincible that's coming out, they're sticking closer to the comics now. But me personally, I read the comics years ago, and as soon as I saw the character designs for a few of them, I'm just like, oh, you DEI cocksucking sons of fucking fucks. Oh, what the hell, man. And it is. Even characters, they only showed one and they killed off. They race swapped them. And I'm just like, why? It doesn't do anything. And people who are fans of the comic are literally going to be insulted. I know I was. And it annoys the shit out of me when they do that. I don't care which direction the race swap goes. If they race swap it on a preset character, especially an animated character, they're doing something wrong. Period. And all that is a giant middle finger to the fans and a fist up the ass for the content. And I will say this, if you haven't read the Invincible comics, there is one I hope to God they never do because everybody's going to suddenly hate the show again. It's when they did the time travel arc where the guy went back in time at the end of the Invincible comics so he could fix all the bad shit. He had the chance to do everything. He told everybody that he was from the future and he knows the future. He knows what these people are going to do. I'm going to fix all the bad stuff. But he doesn't tell the one person it fucking matters to. And that's his woman. And I'm like, why? You told everybody else. You told your dad. You told your boss. You told your friends. You told enemies, for Christ's sake. What the flying fuckle knuckles is going on? And all I can say, bad writing. They wanted to go back to the status quo, and they do that with fantasy. They do that with science fiction. You can't just jump back to the status quo like that. That is an anime type ending where everybody's at the end kind of like, that was good, but at the end, that didn't make any fucking sense. And yeah, it's. I'd hate for people to actually begin to hate something they love over something so stupid. So it is what it is. So I was going through also a couple old things, and you guys know I'm a huge fan of Battletech. And I actually challenged somebody, hey, can we do a quick one-on-one match? He's like, okay. So he grabs a bunch of these Savannah Masters. And if you don't know, that thing is so hard to hit. When you're just rolling dice, it's almost impossible to hit this son of a bitch. I'm like, wait a minute. This thing's a hovercraft. And the rules say it can go this many hexes per turn. How in what dimensional universe are we talking fifth dimensional space? Because how in the hell does it go 230 plus kilometers an hour through thick forest? You can't do that. So all I can say is I hope somebody who works with Battletech is listening when they send out the new rule set, because now people have banned the Savannah Master from being used completely because it's so hard to hit. Why don't they just say, well, if it's in open area, it can travel that fast. If it's in wood area, it goes slower. If it's going over water, yes, hovercraft slow the fuck down. That's just physics. Okay, there's resistance because what's underneath you is moving. If they do that, they will fix everything. I got no problem if there's an issue with lore in something, fixing it. Just like you guys, when you point something out that I screwed up, I do my goddamnedest to fix it. If I can. So far, I haven't found anything on this channel that I couldn't fix, which, by the way, again, we're going to be talking about that in a minute. And I bring all this up to say one thing. Thank you for helping. I appreciate it, everybody. If you send me critiques and you're not trolling and it helps me make a better product, I appreciate it very much. All right. Oh, guys, I think one of you guys is, I don't know if he's in, I don't see him in the chat box right now, but we got a certain person who likes to play War Thunder while he listens. And I think he was listening before, because every once in a while I'll watch a certain channel that does War Thunder videos, and they love to do this. They love to run their bombers through, flatten an entire area for their video, and then they'll immediately despawn out of their bomber, go on the into tanks and rush in before the other side knows what the fuck is going on. I told you, look, if you want to make a great video, get on these guys' Discord, find out when they're going to be bombing, get a squadron of your buddies up, and just troll the piss out of them. Just go in, guns blazing on both sides, and just shred all their bombers, especially the one up front. You always want the one up front because that's the guy who always runs the video. He always wants to be up front. This guy always has to be number one. I swear it's got to be an ego thing. And I'm just like, I watched one video and they did exactly that. And I just about jumped out of this chair. I was like, damn it. Thank you. Yes. Because you know what? These guys want to troll everybody. I'll troll them right back. Unfortunately, I don't play War Thunder. I don't have the hours to put into it. But if you guys do, by all means, put that shit on a video and I go like, I found them in the Discord. Here they come. And just go in with a ME262 and just plow right through. Just cut through them and just start chewing them apart. And it's going to be glorious. Like, you're not going to win the match this time, asshole. So, let's see. On a completely different note, I actually brought this up either last week or the week before. The potential for how a lot of our history, everybody knows that our history is, as one guy puts it, a bunch of lies agreed upon. The evidence is starting to show that there might have been an actual battle between Mars and Earth. The reason for that is, you guys know how a lot of bricks and stuff and buildings they're finding look like they've been melted, like there was a directed energy weapon or something even stronger than a nuke, melted stone, turned it into what looks like a melted candle, and it smeared off the side, but it didn't actually take it all the way to the ground. Well, if you look at Mars, it looks like the whole place was hit with a directed energy weapon and everything was just basically sheared off. But they're finding certain things. They're finding what looks like basement floors, a big 3-kilometer square. They found a friggin' stone face, probably from a statue that's on its back. They found pyramids and all sorts of crap over there. But think about this one. Think about it real close. Now, I create a lot of science fiction, but you guys, I guarantee you listen to more than just me. What happens when you have a planet versus planet conflict? Once they blow each other's ships to pieces, what's left? Well, direct fire onto the planet using whatever the hell they're going to use. This is something that freaks me the fuck out just thinking about it. But if the planets actually went to war with each other and they both fired their doomsday weapon, we'll say, at each other. It really would depend on who cooked the other first. Period. It might have been that simple. They found radioactive signatures on Mars. The sensors have picked it up, and you only get these from actual nuclear explosions. They don't just naturally happen. Radiation naturally happens, but not this type. It has to hit critical mass. So unless somebody's got something, I'm waiting for some sort of evidence to prove otherwise. And by the way, anybody can clip that last bit I was talking about and put it on their own channel if they want. One of those conspiracy TikTok whatevers, or now I shouldn't even say conspiracy because it's just speculation. I'm just letting people think. But somebody else brought it up and they brought more evidence to support this. And all I could say is, what if everything was aimed at Tartaria? No wonder we can't find anything. It's all cooked. Or they just changed our magnetic poles and suddenly stuff is covered in ice, or now it's under a desert, or now it's underwater. Or maybe it created a mud flood. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So stuff to think about. Okay, I only got 2 more things on here, and one of them is somebody sent me this in a meme, and I was just like, okay, you want me to answer this question again? It literally said, you go to bed tomorrow, you wake up, and it's 1983. What's the first thing you do? I always respond with, when I'm done screaming, because I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have a fresh meat suit to work in. It would be great to be able to do that. But all the folks that I know, half of them wouldn't even be around anymore. Yeah, it'd be nice to see my mom again and my grandparents, sure. But yeah, when you start understanding time, people stop asking you this question because you start getting very, very cynical at the way you got to answer. Because they don't truly understand time. Everyone's like, well, I woke up in 1983. I'm going to buy gold. I'm going to go buy stocks. I'm going to go do this. No, you're not going to do shit because you're probably just a kid. You don't have any money. Unless you want to go and mow lawns and shovel snow and trim hedges and do all sorts of manual crap that's going to make your childhood look bleak as all fuck, you're not going to have any money to do shit. So it's just like the isekais, and most isekais, you notice that they're reborn as a kid. A lot of times that's done as okay, you get the do-over, sure, plus you get the new body, but you don't have to worry about the time dilation coming back to cause you all sorts of psychological damage. You know, you can leave everything behind, but just keep your memories. Don't forget it. Just keep going. All right, last thing on here, and this just came out, and my jaw hit the ground. At least this just came out to me. Over in Japan, not only have they used the CRISPR technology to create artificial skin that has all things like nerve endings and stuff like that. Apparently, it's real to the touch and all that. But they've been able to grow it on a metal endoskeleton. Anybody else getting kind of Terminator vibes on that one? Because that's kind of creepy as shit. That's some seriously creepy shit. But the thing with the CRISPR technology is they're not just using it to create the artificial skin. They're also trying to make hybrid human animals. So someone who I don't see in the chat box might actually get his Kitsune waifu. And she may or may not, yeah, I mean, you could design her probably to may or may not be fertile, may or may not age, may or may not have certain, shall we say, proportions. She's definitely going to have multiple tails. I know that much because he keeps talking about fluffing tails, which is why I did the whole thing about fluffing and being the fluffers in the hot tub or hot spring, whatever. So yeah, somebody actually brought that up. It's like, it's probably more for hedonistic things. And all I can say is, in that part of the world, yeah. Over on this side of the Pacific, we like to hurt things more than we like to screw them. Don't get me wrong, we like to screw things, but we'd rather shoot them. So that's the end of my notes here. And before I jump over into the chat box, I just want to give another shout out to Prozac and Pancakes, MTF Guard, Guardian Sage, SS Demon, and Erica Gem for supporting. I do appreciate that very much. And before I start over here, if you guys could, hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it very much. It's just to help the algorithm. I appreciate it a lot. So let me scroll up here, and hopefully this thing won't jump on me like it loves to do. It just loves to jump on me. We got Douglas up here wondering how much healing would be required because just like Sir, he's suffering from some shit. It's like I said, it's just, it would really depend. A lot of this, like I said, the guy has to look down at the quantum level. But the thing is, most of us don't know how to operate at the quantum level. I'd be looking around going, it's pretty, but what the fuck am I looking at? It's just that simple. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. Demon says, I can actually watch the live stream today for at least an hour, but they cut back the overtime this week. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Having an extra shekels in the paycheck is always a good thing. Guardian Sage was extending greeting mortals and other assorted beings. And there's a truly outrageous one jumping in as well. Let's see. Here's Chris. This week was rough. Just found out yesterday my mom will be moving in with me because she can't live on her own. You're 3 in a day. Save the day. Well, I wouldn't say. I guess 3 within 24 hours. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, my dad lives with me too. It's getting to be that way. He can't drive anymore, but that's because one of his eyes is kind of fucked up. Kind of bad to drive when you can't see one side. But anyways, let's see. Bite Me says, greetings everybody. Sorry I missed last week. Had to work. No problems. You get what do they say? Get the bag. Is that what it is? Let's see. Ava's here. Duck. And yep, we're glad to see Ava. You don't really show up all that much, so it's good to see that you're here. Yeah, we were worried that we didn't know if you were still kicking about. Doug came back. What a lot of people don't realize is that other worlds / dimensions technology can mean psychic tech or energy manipulation of a different sort. Yeah, yep, that's absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons why around the world, most of us have been dosed with things like fluoride to block psionics. It's one of the things I learned about a long time ago. I hadn't looked into it in a long time. It's starting to make its rounds again. Now, one of the weird things about psionics is it's a broad term. Psionics could be something like telepathy, telekinetics. I'm trying to remember the right word. It's like matter manipulation is the closest I can get to it right now, where you can actually take something like this pen and you could turn it into another toy. Now, you would actually be hard pressed to turn this into a hunk of gold, but you could turn it into a different other shape of plastic by basically remolding it. Now, can it be done? Yeah. Can it be done easily? No. You'd have to take a long time to learn. But again, we're all being dosed specifically to stop us from that. That's one of the things certain super rich folks would gladly have us as drones forever because that's the way they operate. They don't want us to learn truth. And that's why, again, they lie a lot. And that's why a lot of these UFO whistleblowers, I take a lot of it with a grain of salt. I'm like, show me something, people. Show me anything. The only reason I back Greer any bit because he actually comes up with some receipts. He doesn't come up with a lot, but at least he's got something. So anyways, let me get back over here. The guard says, so I got Far Cry New Demon for free, and I have to say it's kind of, but it's at least interesting, mostly especially with the whole concept of life after a nuclear war. Yeah, like Fallout. Yeah, that oddly enough, what you guys can't see over here is where I actually chuck all my my bottle caps. So a friend of mine does that too. He actually, I think he said every 4 or 5 years, he actually shows up at the recycling place with nothing but bottle caps in a container, and I don't know, he gets like $50 out of it. He's like, "Hey, more beer." I was like, "Okay." Let's see. Guard says, although I do appreciate the fact they bring the characters in from Far Cry 5, the previous one, so now I have a priest with a shotgun as an ally. Why not? Angels have shotguns. Guardian says, did the a-hole get court-martialed for the idiocy of making you guys run for... Oh, run. No, he got chewed out real hard. The problem is, now I don't know if it still is, but when I was up in Fort Drum, the entire brigade was pretty much rangerific. If you had a ranger tab, you got promoted before everybody, well before you were ready. You got the schools you were not prepped for, nor were you physically ready for, or that you even wanted. You were just sent, and everybody else could screw off. You could screw up all day, every day, and you were protected. And it was just that way. They always protected each other like some sort of union, like some sort of mafia. And I'll tell you what, when you finally get over on them, they are so pissed. They'll send their buddies after you. It wasn't so fun being confronted in the front of the PX by a whole bunch of guys, all of them taking their tops off. And I'm thinking, why are they acting like they're going to beat my ass down? Did you talk smack about this? I'm like, yeah, because he fucked up. He almost got 2 of my guys killed. Well, it's not any way to call anything about you shouldn't have got him in trouble. I don't give a shit. Ask me if I give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's like that scene in the Wolverine where he slams the arrow down. Ask me where I got it. Ask me. Oh, funny you ask. And it's just like, what the hell? Now, don't get me wrong. I know this isn't all Rangers, by the way. It's just I've had to deal with enough of them where as soon as they get the tab, they walk left shoulder forward. I'm so much better. Okay, you were tired and hungry for 60 days. Anybody who was deployed was the same thing. It's crazy. And unfortunately, the guys we get make all the Rangers look bad, really bad. I met 1 or 2 that were decent. So anyway, Guard is up here saying, Sin, half the time when he finds a new manga, I can't believe it's not porn. Is that like I can't believe it's not butter? I can truly believe it's not butter because guess what? I eat butter all the time. When I taste stuff that's artificial, I almost puke. But yeah, it's kind of bad that there's so much of that in the mangas where you don't really need it. And seriously, there's a lot of plot right there. Everybody knows the joke on that one. And it's just like, it gets a little ridiculous. I'm like, seriously, a woman cannot have those dimensions. Either A, her spine is going to absolutely be screaming in pain from the strain. 2, her spine will break from the actual strain. 3, you have no balance when you have that much weight up that high. It just doesn't work. Don't get me wrong. Interesting to look at, but more for a laugh than anything else. Let's see. Douglas says, Oktoberfest beer is good, though they have the Fest beer challenge using beer that has been fermenting at the bottom of the barrel. Ooh, that don't sound so good. That's got all the waste in it, doesn't it? Ava's sitting there saying, I'm not wearing a maid outfit, Erica. No, don't worry. No, as Ava, I don't know if you heard earlier, but I was talking about how Erica sent me the pictures that she wanted me to put at the end, at the end with the shout outs of the videos. And yeah, I won't ruin the surprise. Let's see. Demon, Ava, you going to make War Sniper sad. Let's see. Eric is saying, hey, Eva, I need one earlier. I helped clean for one of the elderly neighbors today. Really? You're going to wear a maid's outfit, especially like a fancy French maid's outfit in front of the elderly neighbors? You trying to give them a heart attack? Oh, unless it's a woman, then are you trying to give her a heart attack? More along the lines of, I wish I still had that type of body. Yeah, we all say that. Guard says, no, they did that fluff thing to themselves. Let them bask in their own tomfoolery. Why not? Demon jumping in. God, I could use a maid for real. Yeah, me too. This place is a freaking mess. I actually was saying how I got to vacuum up tomorrow. With all the overtime I've been doing, my house needs. With all the overtime I've been doing, my house needs some work. Need a few days off to catch up on the housework. Yeah, don't we all? Let's see. Ava saying, I don't got red hair. I'm white as snow. Well, you do know they do konsunes with white hair. I'm just saying that you sent me all redheads. Let's see. Demon saying, I think he mixed up Erica. Oops. No, that's again. It was I was sent the ones with red hair, unless my computer malfunctions and repainted it. Ava, I'm a natural ginger. Let's see. Demon saying, I have a ginger beard with some gray. Yeah, I know about the some gray, guys. It's starting to work its way in. As young as I actually look, it's starting to work its way in. The problem is, at least with me, this is my entire family. We've always had one or two strands of white hair. It grows. It's just there. It's weird. It's even when I was like 19, 20 years old, the first time I grew a mustache, I had to go in with tweezers and pull like one or two white hairs out of my mustache. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not getting old. What the hell? Let's see. Demon. Oh, you're in Pennsylvania. Nice. Or no, wait. That's if you're in southern Pennsylvania. Never mind. Let's see. Ava. Oh my. I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know about it, Eric. Okay. You didn't know? Come on. We all knew. Oh man, you have been out for a while. I knew. Well, honestly, I knew one of you was redhead, but you had me confused with the konsunes. That's what I was saying. Anyways, let's see. Oh, Eric is. I'm in Indiana. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're just towards the Ohio Valley where the weather gets kind of weird. It's just the way the topography is of the continent. It kind of sits in a bowl there, and that's why it kind of swirls around. Or the wind tends to do that. Makes things a little. What's the technical term? Oh yeah, at least weather speaking. I haven't been to Indiana in probably 30 years. Now, let's see. Demon says, it's all good, Erica. I appreciate the thought. Guardians say, oh, yeah, when I was talking about K9, at least it's not K19. Yeah. That was a disaster, wasn't it? The Widowmaker. Yeah. For those that don't know, K19 was a Russian submarine that its reactor failed, or at least the containment failed. It was just a disaster. The captain, the XO, and everybody went in there to fix the damn thing, and they got a very high dose of radiation, and it was not pretty. That is a bad way to go, guys. That is a very, 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 very bad way to go. It is actually horrific, as your insides slowly turn to goop along with your outsides at the same time. It's not fun, and it's all painful. Chris says, I'm Navy, and all but big dudes in tight pants playing with their balls doesn't interest me in the slightest. Well, okay. Look, I'll tell you what, some of the best military stories, and they're just straight up weird, come from folks like submariners. And I just listen to these guys. I mean, let's face it, you're in this tiny little compressed tube under the water for a couple of weeks at a time. you're going to get some weird characters going stir crazy. And I can understand it. Everybody could understand it. And because of that, people are going to do weird stuff. It is what it is. And they honestly, I would get in a lot of trouble because saying a few of the things because they're beyond suggestive on some of the weird shit they did. And that's my phone going off, but I'm not going to answer it because I'm in the middle of a live stream. Okay, let's see. Eric here. Eric Draven, he says, sequels and remakes suck. They just make it worse. Almost always, yes. There are the occasional exception to that. And one of the exceptions actually was Tremors 2. Tremors is a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It is a great movie. And the actors put everything they wanted into it. That being said, Tremors 2, they had just as much energy, a little bit bigger budget, and it's just a fun movie. Unfortunately, after that, they started to spiral down, and by the end, you're just waiting for it to be over. And it's over now because without Burt Gummer, there is no Tremors. Okay, he was like the flagship guy there. They tried to bring back Kevin Bacon, and it's like they blew the tail off the bomber. It just spiraled in while it's on fire. It's just done. I mean, come on. The guy who played Burt Gummer, he had one of the best quotable lines in all of cinema. Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastards? See, Erica here talking about red hair anger. You guys are going over a whole bunch of stuff here. Guardian says Dragonheart 1, 3, and 5 are good, but 2 and 4 are, wouldn't know. I never played them. Or are you talking about the Dragonheart movies? I don't know. The Dragonheart, I only saw the first one, and that was a long time ago. That's when, what's his name? Mr. Shaken Not Stirred was actually the voice. And that's the only one I think I've seen. I think I've seen bits of one now that I think about it. I know I saw the preview for the one where it was supposedly his son, but I was just like, nah, I'm good. Although I did see one little scene where the dragon tried to breathe fire and it inverted and went the other way. I'm sorry. Whoever thought that up, I got to give him credit because that was just funny. That's not how anatomy works, but yeah. Erica's saying, I love Dragonheart. I was like 6 or 8 when I saw it in the movies. Yes, because he had that Scottish accent that just made the dragon come alive. Not to mention, for its time, that was excellent CGI. Nowadays, we can see the flaws because we've been spoiled. But at the time, it was just really, really good. Plus, they mixed it with practical effects, which was, again, just really, really good. And all the actors put everything they could into it. And, yeah. A lot of people don't know that the girl on there, the one with the red hair. No, not you, Ava. She was actually in Starship Troopers. She was the one who followed Rico into the mobile infantry. Same girl. Or I shouldn't say that. Same actress. Let's see. And there's some back and forth in there. I'm not going to go into what you guys are talking about. Deathbed's here. Evening, all evening, Deathbed. How you doing? You rang. Let's see. Guard says, I mean, as great of an idea as that is to counter the bombers, I despise of playing so much in the game due to it becoming constantly bombed. The moment I leave spawn, I refuse to play them. Oh, you're despise of planes. Okay. You despise the planes so much. Okay. Yeah, and that's another reason why I want you guys to troll these fuckers. Okay, please, because last time I watched them, no shit, they went in for a bombing run, and all of a sudden he told like 2 of his guys to go over and hit the spawn point. You want to sit there and spawn kill? I'm sorry, no. I'd rather somebody take a couple of P-38s and just run the cannons or a couple of mosquitoes and just take your fucking ass down. You want to do that and not play the game, because the thing is, he was in that same video I just watched, this same piece of donkey shit was like, oh, well, this is how we win the games. We bomb in and then we rush in. I'm like, no, I watched the thing on the top and then I watch the replay if I want to on another person's channel, and you lose constantly. Your team loses constantly. And guess what? I get it. You're doing this for views. You're doing it for clicks. You're a content creator. I understand. But that irritates me because, like, I used to play MechWarrior Online all the time, and I would freaking hate it when you have actual clans, because these guys have worked out their plans so well that guess what? You can't enjoy the game. And heaven forbid, and this is why you can't enjoy the game. Heaven forbid you win. They will actually write your names down or remember who you are. So if you go in the next match and you're on the same team, the motherfuckers shoot you in the back. And then they eject out of the game so their KD ratio doesn't go down. I'm like, what the flying fuckle knuckles are you doing? You okay? I just gotta pull back. I'm getting spun up here. I don't want to get spun up, but yeah, I don't mind trolling the trolls. I don't mind if you got guard. If you get a bunch of your buddies up there and you go get something that is literally designed to take out motherfucking bombers, something with high caliber, 30 caliber ammunition, 20 mics, something like that, anything. Get a P38, hell, a Messerschmitt would probably work. A ME262. You stay away from your zeros. They're not designed for that. But something with big guns, and just go and fuck them up. And please, for the love of all that is holy, get that on video. And I want you to put it on there on your own YouTube channel. And then you can come on here on Wednesday and you can post it in here. And we're all going to go and watch it after the stream. And I'm just going to go, yeah! And we're all just going to enjoy watching you gun these motherfuckers down and ruin their video because they're ruining the game. And if they don't want to play the game, they just want to shoot videos. I know you don't have time for that, and I sure as fuck don't either. So, okay, you guys are talking about Forgotten Realms. Yeah, I'm lost on that one. Okay, Steve says, you do know they found Babylon, and when they dug down to, it looked like a nuke or tactical nuke may have hit it. And that's from the Bible. Yeah, I know. It's also a firm believer that the Tower of Babylon was being actually created through cymatics, as in people were using telekinetics to actually lift the stones in place and place them just perfect. Because there's, even with modern equipment, to be able to do that, you need like a 30 or 40 man crew just to do that, just because everybody actually has to put their hands on it and line it up or put a 2x4 against it. So it just lines up just perfect. And if you get it wrong, like the wall isn't perfectly lined up, you have to pull the thing off, resculpt it, and do it back over again. It's an insane job. And it's a belief that the Tower of Babel was actually destroyed because if they had completed it, they'd been able to ascend. And yes, I know that's a Stargate thing where they ascend to a higher being, but that's just the way a lot of people were saying. Do I have proof of this? No, I don't, but it's fun to think about. Anyways, yeah, a lot of, let's face it, you run out of nukes and you got to do something to stop your enemy. You're going to hit them with something bigger. What's bigger than a nuke? Well, what's the easiest way to get people rolling, make them more productive and more inventive? The need to kill somebody. Okay. Chris says, a lot of the old gears and jars they find in the water are radioactive as well. Yep. Very low level, because water is one of the best defenses against radiation. But yes, they are slightly radioactive. Let's see. Erica says, the Mars things brings up a nightmare I had as a little girl. Oh, fuck. I hope I'm not going to ruin your night's sleep. That would, then I'd feel like an asshole. But yeah, here's the thing. Since you brought that up, I'm going to let you in on something. And I think I've only told one other person about this. When I was young, I had this weird nightmare that the U.S. got invaded. And I was like maybe 4 or 5 at the time. I didn't understand. I didn't know what paratroopers were. The closest I got to that was those little plastic guys with the little plastic parachute you threw off the deck. And I remember seeing distinctly somebody hanging off of a, not quite off the telephone pole, not quite off the wire, but simply stuck up there hanging by their harness. And I didn't even know what a harness was at the time. And I'm like, what the flying fuckle knuckles? What is that? And why does it look like this is a desert? It doesn't make sense. Well, guess where I saw it about 35 years later? On one of the Terminator movies when what's her name ejected out of her plane and her chute got caught up in the high tension wire and she was hanging there because she couldn't get her harness undone. Tell me that's not some freaky shit. Seeing that again. I'm one of those people, I can see bits and pieces of what is most likely going to happen. And unfortunately, I don't know what's coming until it actually happens. It's just the way it is. That's just the way I'm wired. I can't do shit about it. I'm trying to do a little bit of meditation, so maybe I can focus a little bit more. I keep forgetting to order the gateway tapes. And I got to get the recorder or the actual headset with it. Because like headsets like this one over here. There goes my flashlight. That headset won't actually let me hear certain frequencies. And without that, the gateway tapes won't work, period. Yes, I know there's some people say the gateway tapes are not the original one, but that's what happens when you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. There's going to be degradation. But hopefully, we actually find out that the folks on Mars, all they actually did was dig down deep and they're in there somewhere. You know, just like when they sent their spaceship that is now our moon. I'm kidding. I have no idea what the hell's going on with the moon. There's so much crap with that one. It's just kind of screwy. All right, down here, Chris says, I'd immediately write, if he went back to 1983, I'd immediately write Harry Potter if I went back to 83, then remess up my life with the same bad decisions, but this time rich. I do the done stuff again just to make sure I still have a kid. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. If you were just yoinked back that way, yeah, you would start thinking about stuff like that, all the things you've done, especially people that you'd have to do the exact same thing in the exact same order at the exact same time for that to happen. Holy fuck balls. No. They tried to do that in apparently the whole Titan attack on Titan or Titan attacking Titans each other, whatever the fuck that anime was. Apparently the kid knew the future the whole time and he just constantly kept reliving the same thing so that he could actually get to the final or become the final boss or some crap. I stopped watching it because it got, to me, dumber than hell. I couldn't follow it. It was getting so diluted. But again, to make sure the same stuff happened, to make sure your same kid is your same kid, you would literally have to do the exact same thing at the exact same time, the exact same way. Holy flying fuckballs, until you actually inserted that child into its mom. With the exact same sperm, by the way. So you can't accidentally sit the wrong way at any time either. You know, there's so many factors. It's just absolutely cruel without some sort of intervention, outer intervention to happen. Which is why, if it wasn't so jacked up, I would have liked the Notebook, Create Your Own Adventure. Some asshole got a hold of it, and now it's not worth reading anymore. Anyway, oh shit, hold on. This thing jumped far. I don't know why it jumps out that far. It's just crazy. Let me scroll up here, guys. Okay, sorry, this thing's giving me problems. Okay, where was I? I don't even know where it was. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're back in. Steve says, that's right, Chris. not to mention that natural nuke reactor was Ethiopia. Yeah. Okay. Chris also says Terminator would be fun minus the nukes. I'm getting no thanks. I'm just gonna make out with my Marilyn Monroe bot. Oh yeah, can you imagine how many actresses would be pissed off saying, "You can't have a robot with my face on it"? The human face is something that anybody can use. Okay, if you're just gonna fabricate a fake one, it's not interfering with you. Just like some guy in Japan had a doll after his wife died, completely designed like what's her name from the Avengers there. I'm trying to think of her name, and for some reason I'm coming up blank. So yeah, it's yeah, I guarantee plenty of people would do that. However, when that happens and that becomes commonplace that people start having robots for companionship, have you ever watched Armitage the Third? It is an old 1980s or 1990s anime movie. There is a sequel called Dual Matrix. However, watch that first one, and they go over some of the political and social what the fuckery that's going to happen. Now, for that to actually not completely crash our entire economy, crash our entire social system, crash literally everything, you would have to allow us to again get the medical technology to constantly rejuvenate and regenerate the body, because you still need a populace of living, breathing, thinking people. As much as they would swap us out for bots, you would still need real people. Like this channel, I guarantee you don't get the type of inquisitive shit you do on this channel on those AI channels, because it's all built by AI. It's just copying stuff. There's no inventive anything. Okay, I'm off on the weeds. Let me go back in here. Guardian says, speaking of cities from the Bible, there's evidence that suggests that the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah are at the bottom of the Dead Sea, but the country on the other side of Israel refuses to let anybody do the research dives to confirm or deny it. Now that right there almost gives more evidence than anything else. It's the same thing with the Egyptologists who refuse to let anybody anywhere near the Sphinx, anywhere near the pyramids, unless you have written consent and you have a guide that will only allow you into certain areas. I'm like, what the fuck? How are we supposed to discover everything if we're not supposed to go anywhere new? Now, here's the fun part. They used to not be able to do this in sand, but now they have true ground penetrating radar, which they only have to have. It takes a while to set it up, but sending 1 or 2 pulses through and you can map everything underneath. And I mean everything down to almost a kilometer. It's actually really freaky shit. It actually will tell you if there's deposits of any type of ore, any type of minerals, water, and stuff like that. It's really, really good stuff. But they won't let it anywhere near that area. They will not let it anywhere near the Sphinx or anything like that. Let's see. What's Bite Me says it's psychokinesis. Yeah. Yeah. See, there's a lot of different words for it, and they're all really close to, or the definitions are really close to each other. Let's see. Steve says, not sure. I only ever heard of one natural nuke reactor. Bite Me just can't remember what country it's in. They mentioned it up above a little bit, I think. There is one. Yeah, it gives off that much, but it's such a rare occurrence. Now, just like Murphy said, anything that can happen will. We understand that. That being said, I need to stop. I need to wait a minute because we got a $10 super chat from our wonderful bike riding, everybody loves him, Brian Kim. And let me finish writing this down so I don't forget you. And he says, keep up the good writing. Thanks for the stories. You are quite welcome, and thank you for the donation. Like I said, I'm never going to turn it down. My pride's not going to stop me there. Don't have much of a pride anyway. But I'm not going to beg for it, but I do appreciate it. And you have yourself a good one there, Brian. I very much appreciate it. And I appreciate all the rest of you listening in. And now I'm going to go back up towards where I was, if I can find it. Okay, there we are. But yeah, the natural nuke reactor, again, everything's got to be just right. And that's why the carbon dating is a pile of bullshit. Because for carbon dating to be correct, every single thing that you carbon date has to be carbon dated, or the carbon has to be put on the exact same way each and every time. That is not physically possible unless they're literally right next to each other. Okay, if you don't believe me that carbon dating can be completely wrong, think about this. They believe, or when I was growing up, we were told that it takes several million years to fossilize bone. I can go online now and I can find a human foot that fossilized inside a cowboy boot from like the late 1800s. Okay, no joke. This is why carbon dating is a line of bullshit. This is why everything needs to be reevaluated, but we won't get reevaluation because the Smithsonian owns all this shit and they're in charge of controlling what our history is dictated to us. It's just the way everything lines up, and it's bullshit. Unfortunately, we're never going to know the truth, at least not in this lifetime, because there's too many people that make too much money on keeping us in the dark. And all of them can find the darkest part of my ass and kiss it repeatedly. Let's see. Demon says, if I remember correctly, if you drop the sea level about 400 feet, a lot of landmass shows up where ancient cities were supposed to be. Yes, it's true. Like the Byzantine Road and everything like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff off the coast of China, off the coast of Japan. These are massive stones that are set up to be other types of the step side pyramids. I forget exactly what they call them. And you got the road just off the coast of Florida that goes off into the Atlantic, and they say is the road to Atlantis. You're right. It's amazing how much stuff is there. Seriously, I'm a level 1 Nowie diver, which means I can only go down to about 100 feet. I can even travel down to this shit. I mean, I would go anyway further because honestly, I don't care what the regulations say. I'd still go, but it is what it is. Okay. Chris says, I don't know what I did wrong, but the meatballs I made tonight taste like spicy Italian sausage and it's kind of awesome. Okay. If you made the meatballs from scratch, I know exactly what you did because the same thing happens when we make sausage. You know how you got the spices from your from the box. Most people just buy them from the box. They don't make their spices. You either put a little too much in or you grab the box that said extra on it. And it's got extra bold in there. And it's going to be, whoo, it's got some zip. He continues with the maid costume is a great idea in front of the elderly, depending on the contract they're willing to sign. Oh, sweet God. Okay. I'm going to leave that one alone because honestly, I got nothing. Okay. Demon says, I'm in Southern PA. Live near the Maryland line. Okay. At least you're not too close to West Virginia there. You know, where Tim Pool is. I've actually got a lot of family, but they're over on the other end of the state. They're over by Johnstown, Altoona area. Anyways, Carrie's here. Says, watching you from work here in Southeast Texas. Cool. Got a few minutes of free time. Waving at you. I'm waving back. Thanks for joining us. Chris says, Midwestern part of West Virginia between Huntington and Charleston. Oh, boy. They got some really screwed up laws in West Virginia, apparently, especially when it comes to working around. If you want to be a contractor just for a quick job, oh, God help you. like I said, Tim Pool went on this huge rant about it, and I only listen to him every once in a while. And wow, that was something. Yeah, apparently you need to be part of an employment with somebody, and the employer has to follow some certain rules, and everything has to be controlled by the state. And I'm just like, why don't you just let the free market do what it does? Because if somebody fails, that's their fault for failing. This whole too big to fail or whatever is again a pile of bullshit. Like the man says, it's all bullshit and it's bad for you, just like this soda. But just like this soda, all you guys are bad motherfuckers. Okay. Let me scroll a little bit here so I can see these. Oh, hell no, in Far Cry New Dawn, you can get yanked out of your buggy or truck if it has rebar doors instead of actual doors, if there's a bear or a cougar. Well, yeah. A bear would do it. Bear gets a hold of your claws as full-size bear. You're depending on the bear, you're talking anywhere from 200 to 600 pounds. I mean, that's that's a big fur missile, man. And that thing's on detonation on impact. You're going to have a bad day. Chris says he's originally from Newark, New Jersey. For the longest time when people said Newark, I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I kept asking, where's New York or where's Newark? And they looked at me like, you don't know? I'm like, well, if I knew, would I have asked you? Let's see. Demon says, well, I have to leave now, sadly. Oh, we're sad. Oh. I love those movies, all of them. And there is a lot of them. Bert is the best. Yep. With all the Tremors. Just one last reminder to check your email for War Sniper's mail I sent you for him. Yeah, and I think I know which one you're talking about, by the way, Demon, and that's his edition with his dragon guy. And I actually sent a message back saying that if I did everything that's in that, I'd literally have to start a whole new series based on that character. And War Sniper, you asked me to actually put it in this one, so that's what I did. I kind of have to stick with the original lore that I had. I can't just go changing everything. I mean, it's a good setup. Don't get me wrong. Let's see. Eric is saying, bye-bye, Demon. Hope you stay warm and get off early. I'm going to forgo the obvious joke on that one and say, have a good night all, and are still going when I get to work. I'll slip back. Otherwise, I'll finish the stream later. Oh, see you later, Demon. Let's see. Steve saying, I played the original Mech Warrior back in the mid-90s and loved it. Yeah, Mech 2 was the really big one that came out. I mean, it's blocky as hell, and it's annoying as hell to play now because most people are used to a mouse and a couple of keys. That Mech Warrior 2, you didn't use the mouse at all. You had to use the keyboard to operate your mech. And that put a whole nother realm of difficulty in. And I'll tell you what, it used to drive my dad nuts. Because even when I wasn't playing, he'd go, enemy mech destroyed, enemy mech destroyed, enemy mech destroyed. I'm like, do you have to make fun of everything I do? And well, yeah, he kind of did. So, but yeah. I actually was able to clear Mech 2 Mercenaries in 5 hours. I played it straight through. And usually by the time I finished straight through, I had all the big boys, all the Atlases and everything else. The actual BattleTech game that they released a couple years ago, that's more like playing the board game. I'll tell you what, one of the things I just love doing, if you can get it, you get the Annihilator and you just load it up with basically AC-20 shotguns. And you just aim for the head, and boom, you take out the pilot. Boom, you take out the next pilot. Boom, you take out the next, and you're just picking up mechs off the battlefield. Kill the meat, save the metal. Okay, down here it says, Chris. It says that would be a good story idea if everybody just started speaking our true language for some reason, and we woke up psychically. Ooh, wow! You know what? That would be fun to do. I would love to do a story like that, but I would need more people with me in the room with me doing that, because I don't know enough on this subject to really put it all together, but when they start giving me all the pieces, I can put them on the board real quick and make a very cohesive story. Let's see. Ava's down here says, the one thing I find about trolls is they get pissy when things end up working out better because they're trolling without them. Okay, I think I'm reading this wrong. Hold on. One thing I find out about trolls is they get pissy when things end up working out better because of their trolling. Oh, without them finding out they helped. Oh, okay. So they get mad. They thought they failed their troll, but it actually worked. Okay. See, Ava says new gun sights just drop use actual holograms instead of reflections. Yeah, the EOTech's been using that for years. I love my EOTech. I used to put that on my saw, my squad automatic weapon, because it's the only sight that wasn't an iron sight that actually held a fucking zero when that thing is shaking the shit out of you. Especially when you got to hold it up and fire, because that thing, it shakes real hard. The 68, the red dot scope, you fire one burst and your zero is just gone. You don't know what the hell you're aiming at. And those big old, was it 235s or whatever the fuck they used to call them, 392s, whatever the number was. Those things suck so bad. Oh, they're not designed for that weapon anyway. But yeah, I personally like the holographic sights. I do not like them on my pistols though. But that's just me. Lena says, I don't know if you saw the video on YouTube that showed a 1 hour long space battle from a video. Yes, I did. I actually had to stop about 3 or 4 times to go do other stuff, but I kept coming back and I wanted to finish it. And the only thing I didn't enjoy about it, out of the whole thing, was the fact that in space, there's still fighters moving around like you're in an atmosphere. Only a couple times did they use actual Newtonian physics on that. And when they did, it worked out great. It worked out really, really well. It'd be one of those, I would actually enjoy playing that game. That was just really good. The CGI was a little janky, but it was really good. The battle was really good. It was just good. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and look it up. I think it was like Squadrons, whatever the hell the number was. And just put in cinematics squadron, game, and it should come up. And it's just, you're going to be, if you haven't seen it, you're going to enjoy it. Erica says, I had nightmares about a lot of things as a kid. Yeah, so did I. Oddly enough, the one that weirded me out until about 20 years down the line is I swore I saw a T-Rex standing there outside my window looking in. And no joke, guess what movie came out 20 years later? Or actually 15 years later? Jurassic Park, with that T-Rex in the literally same exact position. And my dumbass couldn't put 2 and 2 together for another couple years. And I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell is with my brain? Let's see. Oh, shit. I hate when this thing jumps. Okay, Bite Me says, you're thinking of Scarlett Johansson. Oh, yeah, that chick. And yes, Armitage. Armitage was it's just a good movie. It's just pure and simple. It's a good movie. Final Battle's a little weird, but I mean, it's still a good movie. Let's see. Ava says, psychic and psionic are 2 different categories of abilities. One focuses on energy manipulations, that is psychic, and focus on field manipulations, that is psionic. Yeah, but they're still both manipulations. Again, it's just like talking engineering. You can have engineering is a very wide field. You can have a construction engineer with a electrical engineer. They're both engineers. It is what it is. But you are right, Ava. You are 100% right on this. I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Psychic. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I was making sure you didn't have them backwards. No, you got them right. You got them right. I was reading it wrong. Okay. Let's see. MTF Guard says, God damn, even the freaking high speed chases in this game are underwhelming. Like, wow, this game is hollow shell compared to Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 chases. I wouldn't know. I haven't been a gamer in a long time. Let's see. Guard says, TBH, I'm just going to go back to playing either Dark Souls 3 or War Thunder. Go to War Thunder and troll some people for us. Yeah, more power to you, Guard. Go troll some motherfuckers. Yeah. Let's see. He continues with, now I understand why everybody keeps saving Far Cry. New Dawn is just Far Cry 5, but pink and radioactive. Really? See, again, not a gamer. I don't know this. Lenitz here says, I'm only here for the science fiction and fantasy. No, not conspiracy theories. Well, I'm not trying to throw all that stuff out. Usually we do stick to the science and the fantasy and stuff like that. I mean, granted, with all the CRISPR stuff and all the robotics and everything, science fiction is only science fiction for so long. I've been saying that since I was a kid. A lot of people would fight me on it all the time. Oh, it's just science fiction. You don't know what you're talking about. Science fiction is only science fiction for so long. Oh, yeah. Can you prove it? I'm like, yeah. You see the fucking microwave over in your kitchen? That was science fiction when I was born. It was science fact by the time I turned 5 years old. And actually, they made a joke about that in that god awful movie, The Time Machine, the new one, not the old one. And the guy was talking about, oh, we need to upgrade the technology. And he talked about the way microwaves work, using radiation to cook meals very quick so that wives would have more time. And then the old guy's like, what are those women going to do with all that time? What's wrong with you? I was like, what the hell? That right there is the thinking that a lot of these self-righteous morons who are like, oh, the world isn't ready for this tech. Well, that's not your area to judge, asshole. It just, it irritates me to no end. Let's see. Guard continues with, Jesus Christ, this game is pissing me off. Just hit a whole cutscene where I confront the boss's guns in my hand and everything. And since the cutscene, I just can't pop them right then and there. Okay, I got no idea about the cutscene. So, Demon's back. He said, had to stop and get gas. That law you're talking about in West Virginia is actually 34 states. Really? Okay. Hopefully it's not in this one too, or else I might be in trouble. See, Guard says, I mean, I get it if you're driving slow and stopped when the bear and cougar rips you out, but what? I'm going almost 80 and then there's a sudden I get yanked out of the car. Yeah, I'm going to shit some bricks as I watch 5-second animation of it biting me in the arm before my character slugs it in the nose. Pop, what is it, a shark? I think they probably just put it in just for shits and giggles, honestly. Let's face it, everybody does that. I do that sometimes. A lot of that stuff with the hot spring, that was for shits and giggles. I mean, let's face it. Who doesn't like a good hot spring episode in their animes? Emphasis on good episodes. Sometimes it's just there and you're just like, okay, now the guys are going to try sneaking a peek and they're going to get busted and somebody's going to fall over and that's supposed to be funny. It's been done too much. I mean, yeah, if you set up a trap and they get friggin' conked in the face or something, then that's not so bad. Let's see. Leonid says, yes, Squadron 42. There you go. There you go, guys. If you wanted to see that whole cinematic, again, it's really good. Squadron 42. But you can actually see the cuts where you're actually supposed to play the game. Let's see. Ava says, I'm going to go crash out. Good luck, guys. Nice seeing you again. Nice seeing you, Ava. Bye-bye. Everybody's saying bye too. See ya. Okay. Let's see. Leonid says, I remember that I knew a K-pop fox girl from the video game from around 10 years ago. That game is still around. Dude, I'm at a loss. Let's see. Eric's also going, see you later. It's chow time. Keep up the great stories, Sin. By the way, Helm's Deep still annoys me. It makes no sense. No, it really doesn't. And Steve's about to leave. So, since a few people are peeling off, let me grab one of these. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I did have it ready. Okay, for everybody who's still here, here's a little teaser for tonight. Okay, this was actually requested by someone who is about ready to leave. And she listened to a story I had started. Unfortunately, I stopped it after the first episode because I fucked up, guys. I'll freely admit it. I fucked it up. I couldn't continue it the way it was because it didn't line up right. And this is the one where I tried to fix it and I screwed it up like 2 or 3 times today and I had to rewrite it over and over again. But it's not only written, the audio is done for that. I'm just waiting. Once this is over, I just got to give the shout outs at the end of the video and it's going to be posted for midnight. But it is the Cybertronian Wars. Oh, shit. Here we go again. And it literally starts out. Actually, no, I'm going to let you guys vote if you want me to actually give you a teaser or not. I'm just going to leave it at that one. But, yeah, it looks like Steve is out. Love the last stories. Laughed my butt off at the last 2. Okay, good. See. Lena says, I mean, if you know the game, League of Legends, the game has a fox. Yes, it does. Actually, I've used that, a still from that, to give a shout out to the ladies out here. Guard says, I feel like probably one of the funniest hot tub episodes I've seen is definitely One Piece after the Kaibo arc. Now, I never got into One Piece. I was never, it just didn't appeal to me at all. And Guard near like right after the battle and all, hold on. Like right after the battle and all at the hot tubs enjoying their own respective size, and the main character Luffy and Kyoto's daughter Yamato both charge into the men's side. Okay, why not? Kind of walking in and strutting like the dragon guy, waving his multiple junk around. And yes, if you didn't get it, since he's reptilian and reptilians don't have the same design we do, they have hemipenes, which means they're going to have multiples hanging there swinging in the breeze. But since, and I didn't put this in there, since his wives prefer different sizes, well, yeah, he was built with different size. I didn't want to put that in and be so blatant and then get a strike against me because somebody thought I was being too crude. Okay, seems like a lot of people were in for the teaser. So I'm just gonna go over a little bit. I might screw this up because it's not lined up exactly. I'm not reading it directly. It's notes here. So I'll go through. So the way you hear it now is not going to be exactly the same as what you're going to hear at when it drops midnight Eastern Standard. And starts out along the lines of, I was a child when they first came and the war began. The war began as they reached out of our planet, burst forward like a volcano, and started to destroy everything, fighting amongst themselves. They would tear everything apart, as it seems like these 2 different clans of these robotic creatures wrecked across our own world. It seems as though they like to attack things like oil rigs, power plants, weapons manufacturing, anything that created energy. They looked at, excuse me, large swaths of cities were taken to the ground, completely crumbled into dirt as they fought inside our world. I watched on TV as just a young child as a building that my cousin worked in was flattened in front of me live with her in it. I watched the armies of the worlds ramp up production and recruitment. They marched en masse onto war. However, with this 1980s tech, they barely held a candle to what the enemies had. But we did have an advantage. We had an advantage in numbers and in innovation. because nothing sparks human creativity or the productive spirit like the desire to kill someone. I hope you like the teaser. That's like half a page right there. More or less, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Guard. It's originally I was told that I had to stay away from that stuff because I couldn't actually like sell it. I'm like, I'm not selling it. I'm just creating a side story. I'm not putting anything out there. I'm not putting any type of real estate or merchandise or anything like that. So they can suck a dick for all I'm concerned if someone wants to give me crap. Let's see. Guard was continuing his thing. He says, and when she asks why the hell she's there, that's why she's on the men's side. She says, I don't care, and then chugs an almost 1 gallon thing of beer. Yeah, skinny girls for some reason can really drink. And I think you guys set me up before on that one where they just, I don't know, something about the metabolic rate or something like that. They can process it better than we can. So. Well, it is what it is. So you guys going to have to let me know how that little starter teaser there worked for the Cybertronian Wars. The thing is, I'm going to be taking all of the, not just the shows. If you remember the original cartoon, then you know that one of the first places they fought was an oil rig, which is why that was in there. Don't be surprised if you get hear about certain ones that you like, certain ones you don't like, and other ones you might not have heard about, because I'm going to be leaning very heavy towards the comics. If you haven't read the comics, I will let you know the comics are very, very, very dark. Like, holy fuck. You would think it was part of the kids show. It is not. It is extremely dark. Let's face it, they're fighting for a millennia war. I mean, it's just crazy. So let's see. But I will let you know, if you guys have a for this one here, it's probably only going to be about maybe a 5 or 6 parter. And then that's going to be part 1, and part 2 is going to be later, unless there is a shit ton of views. If there's a shit ton of views, I'm just going to keep going. And it probably, excuse me, it's probably going to take me to the end of the month. If I do the entire story, because I had already worked out the entire outline of the story, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, obviously, because we try to keep away from spoilers. Teasers are different, but yeah, it's fairly in depth and it's fairly long. So it really depends on views. It is what it is. I still got to run a channel, folks. What the fuck? Wow, I think trying and do that little voice kind of screwed me up. Maybe the soda's not doing its work anymore. Maybe I'll get a tea with lemon in it or something, or some honey, trying to get that straight. But before I go too far away from this, I just want to say, if there's a certain character you want to be talked about, in the comment section of not this video, but the actual Cybertronian Wars, put in the comment section there if you think a certain character needs to be either, and yes, I know the 2 main characters. Yes, I'm going to talk about them. But again, if you want to see somebody, I will try to make sure I mention them either by name or by description. I'll work around it. But the thing is, I won't be able to add any additional characters beyond what's already there, and 1 or 2 that I need to create to make the story work. It is what it is. So, and I see there's not a lot of traffic over here on the chat box here. So, yeah, I guess that's going to be it. I don't have too much more to cover tonight. I covered most everything that we were going to go over. And yeah, we'll just see how things work. I mean, let's hope, guys, that things do work out in our favor as far as the new technologies that are coming out. And we actually get some information that's actual real information and not half truths and hyperbole. If I want that, I'll just listen to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And yes, that was a hat tip to the Clone Wars. Let's see. Demon saying, I don't know the Transformers lore super well, but I always wondered why they don't have ship-sized Transformers. They do. It's those are called the Titans. Not Alpha Trion. I'm trying to remember which one it is. There's about a half a dozen of them, most of which, unfortunately, are freaking. They're done now because their job was to go on other planets and kind of transformium them a little bit. It's kind of their version of terraforming. There's I'm trying to remember. There's Omega Supreme. He's not quite officially one, but he's actually, even though he's smaller than most of the Titans, he's actually just as strong. He's actually part of a whole group of those. But he's actually bigger than the combiners like Devastator and whatnot. Metroplex was the biggest Autobot they showed, and he's one of the Titans. He's actually a city, an actual no shit city. Demon had another one. You had another one in there. Yes, they do have one that was an aircraft carrier. They did not have one that was a battleship. Now, in the games, they played with this, and they actually took the what was originally a he looked like a T-Rex, and I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head, and I just had it. And it's but they changed him into the Nemesis ship, which was the Decepticon ship that chased the Ark, which was the Autobot ship, to Earth. Trypticon, that's what his name was. Chris is asking, did you get the rewrite? Was it okay? I got the rewrite. I have not reviewed it. I saw it was there. I have not printed out and gone over it. And you're actually slotted next. That's going to be next when this is over. Okay. So depending on how long this takes, you're going to be up next. And of course, I guarantee there's going to be a few people, guards might be, instead of a satellite network, I don't know what you're going to be. The SS Demon might fly its way through again. Guardian says, talking, me, Grimlock, want to be in story too. Oddly enough, Grimlock, as great as he was, if you actually read the comic, the one who actually had the most personality was one called, well, they changed his name. He was originally called Slag. They now call him Slug, because slag is a term over in the UK that is very detrimental to women. So, yeah. But I'm still going to call him by his real name. Well, the character does, but I'm trying to make sure I don't hit any spoilers here. Yeah, you're right. Grimlock was a Dinobot, not a Titan. He's actually smaller than a combiner. Combiners are, I think it's 5 or 6 different Transformers go into one. Yeah, he's just about as strong as a combiner at his own. He's like the version of, like I said, Omega Supreme versus the Titans. He's smaller, but again, he could kick their ass pretty hard, or he could throw down with them pretty good, whichever way you want to put that. Eric saying, any progress on the Cryptid series? Oh, you're talking about the files? I haven't really gone into it in a while. That one, it really wasn't getting views, so I haven't really gone into it much. I mean, I can put it on the list. Or were you talking about a different one? Let's see. And by the way, Eric, if you haven't seen the or listened to the one with the mirror, the damned mirror, yeah, you might want to hear that one. That one's a good fantasy one too. Okay, Guard says Grimlock. Yep. I think. Whoa, hold on. Grimlock was a Dinobot Autobot, and I think what Sin was talking about was Trypticon. Yep. And he also says, yeah, by the way, the Ark in the new lore is also a Titan of its own. Yeah, I saw that, and I thought that was kind of cheesy. But then again, Teletran 1 was always kind of like their go-to bot to figure stuff out. Nice one, Chris. Guardian Sage gets apart. Yep. You better be careful. Those Guardian Sages are pretty strong. I've read what he sent me, and basically they could snap they're like the techno mages on steroids. So, anyways, guys, it looks like a whole bunch of folks are leaving the chat. I'm seeing the numbers tick down over the time because we don't have too much more in the chat. So, I'm going to cut it off here. But before I go, safety brief. Guys, if you drive, you don't drink. You drink, you don't drive. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It's better to explain to the cops why you broke your buddy's nose than that you let him drive drunk and he crashed into a telephone pole. Also, guys, it is getting sloppy out there. So be careful on the roads, okay? Especially if you work early mornings, it's going to be icy. Be very, very, very careful, okay? You can't see black ice, and black ice has almost killed me twice. I know that rhymed. It wasn't meant to. Also, if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. You don't need to bring in a ring of fire. Trust me, it might be a good song, but it's not something you want. Let's see. What else? Aside from that, it's like they say, keep your powder dry and your muzzle pointed down range. And take care of yourselves, folks. I raise a glass to everybody still on. And here's to your health. Here's to a good week. And that's going to be it for me. This is Syntext, wishing all you a good night. And I'm out.